Today I want to talk to you about adoption. Does anybody know what adoption is? To take on the legal responsibility as parent of a child that is not biologically theirs. Or it could even mean to become the owner or caretaker of a pet, especially one from a shelter. So you might be thinking, well, I'm not old enough to adopt a child, and I don't really feel like cleaning up after that Great Dane we just picked up from the shelter. So what does adoption have to do with me? Well, did you know that if you're sitting here today and believe in Jesus Christ for your eternal salvation, that God has also adopted you to his family? He is your father, Jesus is your older brother, and we are God's children. So why is adoption so important? Why talk about it? Because it is the heart of the gospel, or God's plan of salvation. In the Bible, it says in Galatians that when the fullness of time had come, God sent forth his Son, born of a woman, born under the law, to redeem those who were under the law, so that we might receive adoption as sons. God did not have to use the concept of adoption to explain how he saved us, or even how we become part of his family. He chose to speak of us as adopted, as well as being children by a new birth. Now, this is important because we become the family of God and share in the rights that a family member has. Now, imagine if you went to the animal shelter and you saw this cute little puppy. Who's a cute puppy? Who's a cute puppy? Now, wouldn't you want to adopt it? I know I would. But unlike that cute, adorable puppy, God did not find us like an abandoned little cute puppy in a basket on our doorstep, looking irresistibly cute. You know how God found us? He found us ugly, evil, and rebellious. We were not attractive. There was nothing about us that made God think we were cute. We actually looked a little bit more like this animal. What is that, a skinless, hairless cat? Ugh! So, yes, this is a type of cat, and looks like a bundle of skin. Those cats freak me out anytime I see them. I'm sorry if your parents own the cat like this, but if I were to go to a local animal shelter, that would be the absolute last animal I would choose to adopt. Now, I know that might sound a little sad, but I want you to picture this cat as how God viewed us. Now I want to ask you a question. Are there any pet lovers out there that would adopt this hairless cat that I'm talking about? Come on, raise your hands if that's you. So, even if you raised your hand, that wonderful act of adoption you would be willing to do doesn't even compare to the act of God adopting me or you. Now, there were certain realities that God had to deal with. You see, God loved us in spite of our sin and how ugly we were and how ugly we looked to him. But his own justice and law demanded that we be punished and excluded from his presence for our sins. It says in the Bible, in Exodus, that God does not leave the guilty unpunished. So righteousness, or being perfect, is required and punishment demanded to be with God. So how does God satisfy his justice and continue to be loving? He did this by the life, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. You see, adoption in God's mind is not plan B. It's not the most convenient choice for him. Plan A was not lots of children who never sin and never need to be redeemed. Plan A was creation, fall, redemption, adoption, so that the full reach of God's glory, mercy, and grace could be known by his adopted children. Adoption was not second best. It was planned from the very beginning. When Christ died for us, the price was paid. And when we trust him, we are sealed and permanently in God's family. Our identity in God is to see ourselves as this hairless lump of skin cat who is fully loved, redeemed, and filled with his Spirit in spite of our disobedience and sin. Isn't that a wonderful thing? To be loved and adopted by a God who sees us for who we really are and makes the sacrifice of his Son Jesus so that we can be adopted into his family.